Hi there, it's Sarah here, the children's nutritionist, and I'm just running through some essential equipment that you might want to look at in terms of weaning your baby. So if you're weaning using the traditional method of purees, you're probably going to want to make up a batch of purees which you can store in the freezer. And one of the ways you can do this is by using an ice cube tray. Now, some babies will take bigger quantities than others, and I certainly find in my experience that your traditional ice cube tray that you'd use for making ice just isn't big enough. I quite like food cubes like this. So these hold about 60 mils of pureed food, and what's lovely about them is they come with a lid. So when you're pureeing baby food and you're going to freeze it, you need to fill these cubes right up to the top, and then you need to make sure that there is a cover over it before you pop it in the freezer, because not only does that prevent freezer burn, it also prevents any contaminants, any other food dripping out of your fridge or freezer onto the purees. So you would pop those in the freezer and freeze them as normal, and then once they're frozen, just pop them out of here and put them into a freezer bag and label and date them, and then you can reuse these for your next batch. Another little pot I quite like is this little Tippee Pot. So this comes with the steamer blender, which I'm going to talk about in another video. And these are really nice because they're a similar sort of size, about 50-60 mils, and they come with a lid that's attached so it doesn't get lost. The other great thing about these is the bottom is quite squidgy. So if you wanted to freeze these and then pop them out to reuse them, it's quite easy to do so. Just take off the lid and squish them up from the bottom like that, and your puree should come out fairly easily. Some people often ask about plates and bowls and spoons and which ones are better than others. It really doesn't matter in terms of a bowl as such. This is just a cheap IKEA bowl. I think it comes in a set of 6, which is quite nice. I do also like bowls like this, which have like a triangular base. I don't know if you can see that, but what it means is as your baby's starting to feed themselves a little bit more independently from around about 8, 9, 10 months, they can actually get their spoon into the side of the bowl to lift the food out a little bit more easily. So they're quite nice. This set in itself is nice too because it comes with a lid. So if you're out and about and you're taking meals with you, you've got a lid here, and there's also a spoon stored in the lid too. So they're quite nice just if you're out and about. I also quite like these divided plates, which could be useful for older babies, or if you're baby-led weaning, or if you've got a toddler who's a bit fussy as well, actually, because the foods aren't touching each other. So it can help in terms of learning about different types of foods. This one's got 3 compartments here, so you can put 3 different things together. You can also get suction mats, so these will sit on a high chair and not just thrown on the floor, which a lot of babies will do. In terms of spoons, I do have a favourite. You're looking for a shallow weaning spoon, so please don't use a normal teaspoon. These are too harsh on your baby's mouth and developing gums. It needs to be a soft weaning spoon, and they are quite a bit smaller as well. If you have a look at a baby's weaning spoon, you can see it's not very deep, and you can see they're quite soft around the edges. A favourite of mine is this one. This is the Tippee heat sensitive spoon, because if you dip this into your puree or your baby food that you've made and you've heated it up and it's still a bit too hot, this will change colour to alert you to that fact. So I quite like these just as a little bit of a safety feature, really. Spoons that I don't really like are things like this aeroplane spoon. And the reason for that is I encourage parents to feed their babies in terms of following their cues and making sure that they are receptive and ready to eat. And if you are trying to tempt them to eat by zooming in with an aeroplane ready to eat, you're actually almost going down the rules of force feeding. So baby isn't responsive to that at all. This is actually you feeding the baby as opposed to the baby saying that they want to eat. So I don't really like these spoons at all. I'd much rather you use just a standard plain old weaning spoon, whichever make you like. This is just another cheap IKEA spoon. You can see it's a lot bigger and a lot more deeper than a traditional baby spoon. So although it is a plastic spoon, it's probably not great for the start of weaning. I'd save that for slightly older babies or even toddlers. Okay, I hope that's been helpful for you. I'll be back soon with more videos. Bye! So if you liked what you just saw and you'd like to find out more, you can download my free guide to my favourite baby weaning essentials. Just click on the link below.